Good morning. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is number 60 of us here on the National Soccer Network. John Turner alongside Nathan Wengler. You're watching Inside the Game. And Nathan, we've done 60 of these.
It's true. Yeah, this is number 60. Hold on. Let me figure out our day to day. That's
out.
it. Oh, okay, we're checking out after 60.
I think
right.
I think 60 is enough.
Okay. I mean that's fair. I'm not debating with you here. I mean we just gotta send it out on the right note, right? Chuck Bednarik is number 60. Okay, 10-time first team All Pro. 8 Pro Bowls, was selected in the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame, 1967. So you might remember him. I don't remember him very well. But yeah, Chucky. That's number 60. Chucky Buckets. So there we go. I didn't realize we were 60 and die over here though. So we got something cooked up for the finale. You got something up your sleeve over there?
Yeah, I think I do.
Something crazy and wild.
But no, nothing crazy. We're not gonna end it here. We're just getting started.
Okay.
We're just getting started. I mean, obviously we need more people to watch the show, which that will continue to hopefully increase over time, right? But
that's true.
So I've been thinking about this, and Bianca, works for us now. Dan, we got you, we got Victoria, we got a lot of people kind of working behind the scenes. Over 125 souls on board this flight to. Well, I don't know if it will ever come to an end.
To Neverland.
To Neverland. It's actually like that. Yeah. But this is a better Neverland than Michael Jackson's. But. Yeah, so we got our schedule yesterday for the WPSL. That schedule, by the way, has upwards of 679 games, give or take. So first off, you can't take off any time here between now and July, Nathan, because literally just load this into our master schedule. We are up to, as of right now, 1,134 games in our master schedule for the season, so for the year. So things are starting to kind of pick up. We are continuing adding games to that schedule every single day. But I was thinking about this. We talk about, we're going to be doing this thing here. We're going to talk about it, and I'll announce it tomorrow. We want to create like top players in America, right? We want to do that. Top players. So who the top players in America are, right? And we'll do it at different levels, right? So you got your high school players, you got your college, you got your professional. We're going to put this thing together in top 50 up in America. And we'll announce that process for that in the coming days. But I want to do it for fans. Like I want to do it. I want to give some love back to the fans of soccer. Like who are the top fans in this country? Now, it could be fan groups. And it could be fans, like a singular. I think we should do both. I think there's plenty of people out there that are huge soccer fans, and they should get some attention. They're out there posting, they're out there sharing, they're out there doing their thing. But we should totally do like top soccer fans in America. And it doesn't have to be anything to do with like a singular team or the level of team. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that just love the game, and they're huge fans. So I want to honor them. I think we should honor them. I think we should,
so too.
Do a little expose on them, little showcase, on them, little bio, right? Why they love soccer so much. Really get inside why they are soccer fans in their head, if that's even possible.
Yeah, I mean. On a minor extent or a minor level, I that's why I'm looking forward to like the professional team that's coming to my hometown here in GR, just because I want to see the things around the fan experience, right? So we had that team for a little bit here, and they played at Houseman Field, and to a minor extent, yeah, they had that following, and I think they would all, I forget what bar on Michigan Street they would go to, and then when they would all walk over to the stadium, and they would all, have their chants and their stuff. And this time around, I don't know, I want to know where they congregate. First of all, where do they all get together? Because I know that that's something, at least for these smaller communities, and that's the exciting thing about doing this on a national level, is getting into these smaller towns, these medium-sized towns, and finding these pockets where these fans are. Like Detroit City already has it. They already kind of have their pockets, and you guys kind of know exactly where they go. Obviously, they already come to the stadium for the game, but on GR over here on the west side, that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. Like, what bar are they going to go to, and then where are they going to walk from? Also, what are the team colors going to be? What are the chants going to be? Do they just travel in a big pack to the stadium? And then highlighting all that, highlighting the fan experience, because really we don't really have that. We had it for a little bit, then it kind of went away, and now I think the hope with putting a new team in here is that is going to come back. That energy, that that forwardness, and wanting to be together and bring those people out. The thing is, sometimes about these soccer communities too, like, they're just not that they're not loud and proud, but they just don't get enough attention, maybe because of the level they're at, or maybe because they're in smaller numbers than obviously some of the other sports. So that's what I'm excited about, is figuring out all the little intricacies around the fan experience at that level. But no, I'm all for highlighting communities and their supportive team. I'd love to do that, because clearly, to me, there's even some places that have bigger followings that I didn't even know about. Like, I think we learned a lot about specifically Chattanooga over the U.S. Open Cup, and at least in Tennessee, like, there's a good soccer group there. I wouldn't have thought. I didn't think Tennessee was a place where soccer was really doing well, but it is, clearly. I mean, it's not just Cali or just the West Coast or the places that are closer to Mexico. Like, Tennessee's got a good following. It seems like Ohio, I've talked about, anytime at least the national team plays there, Ohio has a good following. But I have to imagine there's some other, smaller fan bases in that area that loves the game of soccer. So yeah, I would love to see top soccer fans in America, or just the top cities in America for this. Peter, what's going on, man? You're early into the comment section today. Chattanooga is a great city to visit. Luke and I actually went to Chattanooga once. Stopped in there on our way down. We drove down to Miami, 23 hours in a car with that Yahoo. But we stopped in Chattanooga, and it is great. We almost got arrested, actually. That was fun. We went to the Chattanooga Lookout Stadium and tried to look in, and there was a cop that actually followed us there. So good experiences in Chattanooga.
So if you're just joining us, we are talking about as a national platform, we want to elevate the game. And the game is so much more than just the players and the coaches, right? There is the fan base, right? So while we are going to be doing, top players around the country, we're going to do top coaches, we're going to do top referees, we're going to do top fans. And it's not, and to be fair, I want to break it down by fan bases and then by singular fans. Singular fans. There are fans out there right now who are, just like I said, they're like lone wolf fans. They can't get enough soccer in their life. It's a constant thing. They probably live, breathe, and they will die soccer. I want to uncover those rocks. I want to uncover those fans out there who love this game so much and give them an opportunity to be a part of this platform. So we'll talk about that. We are going to be doing a top 50 players in America. We're going to start with high school juniors. Why? Because these are players right now playing high school soccer, either at their high school or at their club team. They are in the process of being, selected and committing and going on college visits and all these things. So why not highlight players right now who are looking to take their game to the next level? We'll be accepting nominations starting on April the 15th. We have a list of players that we will be going through on our own end, but we'll let people be nominated. I mean, I believe that every player should be given an opportunity to be part of this process. So we're going to do that. That'll be available on our nationalsoccernetwork.com website. We can go in and nominate a player. We'll reach out to that player and ask them a series of questions and get an understanding of why they should be in this conversation. But we're going to do it for both boys and girls. So it'll be top 50 boys, top 50 girls, high school juniors. And again, that'll be we'll start the nomination process here on April 15th. We should end that process by the 15th of May, and then we will publish this on June 15th. So, which is the day that college coaches can officially start talking to players.
And that's going to help them out a lot too. That's the other thing. And you and I have kind of chatted in length about that, is getting coaches involved in this process, and that to that degree, that'll help out a lot with that. And this is the other thing. Like, it's an entertainment value. Yeah, we talked to you about the games. To anybody that does come back and listen regularly, Peter, obviously you're one of them. Schrock, thanks for stopping by today. This is all good and dandy for entertainment's sake, but for coaches, it's going to help out a ton. Peter says, I saw a video from a family member back in Poland, and the Ultras, a.k.a. top fans with flares, posters, the size of the home side stands. That is a fan base. You're Polish? Well, I guess I should have guessed that from your last name. Yeah, that's it's kind of a given.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay.
Right. I've
Shots
never seen
fired
that, Peter.
here
I
this morning.
I gotta see evidence of this. I gotta see pictures and videos and whatever you got. So no, it wasn't a shot by any stretch.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
He's a big Polak. All right. We're
hey,
all
so
Polacks here.
Our friends at the Coffee Firm and in this faux league here in Michigan, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of the league. I want to say it's like the Northern, something like the North Upper Peninsula, something. I'm drawing a blank. But our friends at the Coffee, I know. But our friends at the Coffee Firm, they actually host a podcast called The Coffee Firm. They actually record that. They pre-record it on. I don't know if it's like every single week, but it's a pretty good show. I'd love to have those guys maybe hop on for an interview here with us on our platform. But those guys are huge fans of soccer, and again, it's around the Lansing Common Robins, and Lansing Common based again here in Lansing, Michigan. They play in the Midwest Premier League. They draw about 500 to 600 to 700 fans to every one of their games. They've been playing at the same location. Local TV comes out and covers them a bunch and has them in their local broadcasts. Which, if you think about this from the standpoint of linear TV coverage, that's a pretty big deal. You're not, and if you get into like the obviously major cities, Metro Detroit, Local 4, Channel 7, WXYZ, whatever, all these different stations in Metro Detroit, those local big media outlets will cover like things like Detroit City FC, but you'll never see like a local, soccer game that's amateur based on their platforms, which I think is a shame. But you start getting out to like Flint and to Lansing and other parts of the state, Grand Rapids, those areas are going to have the linear coverage of these teams because that's the only thing really going on in their cities. Right. I mean, you get out to Grand Rapids. There's, from a sports standpoint, you get the Grand Rapids Griffins. You've got, I know there's a G League team there. You've got the minor league baseball team as well. So you've got 3 or 4 teams that's, and then the rest of it, what are they going to do for sports? They can cover national stuff, but the viewer at home can already consume that somewhere else. So they want to give them something more local. So you're going to see this Grand Rapids soccer team on their local linear TV coverage. You're going to see that. Will Midwest United make it on there? Yeah, probably not. It's USL League 2. They might not. I've never. I don't know if that's something they actually do over there or not. Nate, you might have a better idea of what you can see on TV there. But but these fan bases and some of these small markets are tremendous. And Coffee Firm has and the fan base of Lansing Common is really strong. I would argue that they're probably one of the best fan bases in the state. They travel well, and that's how you know you have a good fan base, right? It's when you travel. We did a game here a couple of years back where Lansing played Michigan Stars, right? And Lansing from my house is about an hour and a half or so, right? Give or take, maybe a little bit less, but now with this 696 being closed, it's even worse. But from my house to Washington Township, where where Michigan Stars play their games, is about 40 minutes. So it's a 2-hour drive to go from Lansing, up to Washington Township, where they play these games. They were there 2 hours before the game. They were tailgating in the parking lot. And that's how I had my ever first coffee lemonade drink was there at that game. Hand me a Robins right there. That's their scarf. I got that game as well. Right. So yeah. So I mean, that's how you know a fan base is strong because they travel. They must have had 30 people travel to that game.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. I mean, that's a big deal. So can you have a whole bunch travel? Probably not. But that's still, I think. And I'm not talking about like moms and dads of the team, right? We're just talking about this is like legit like fans. Peter chiming in last week, the Des Moines Menace for a second round had 9,500 in the stands for a small market team. Wow. Des Moines Menace has been around for a long time. If you were to put Des Moines Menace where they fit in the USL League 2 hierarchy as far as like success and all this kind of stuff, I mean, they're right up there with Flint City Bucks. Those are the gold standard teams in that league right now. Now, there's other teams that have had some success recently. Peoria City, for example, which fell short in the finals here this past summer. Like they're an up-and-coming team, right? We saw Ballard FC a couple years ago. They won the whole thing. They're based out of the Seattle, Washington area. They have a great fan base, and they're doing really, really well, but they're so young at this. So, yeah, there's some up-and-comers, but Des Moines Menace has been around for a long time. They're a really good team. They have a really good fan base. And every year they were able to be in that conversation for winning a national championship. It's like, again, it's like if you look at like this, it's like the New York Yankees of baseball, right? Which they're not really in that conversation as much anymore, but they were there for a period of time, right? You had the Red Wings were always in that conversation growing up, especially in the mid 90s and early 2000s. The Red Wings during a stretch there had not missed a playoff for 25 consecutive years, whatever that number was.
Yeah.
So, there was this thing every year that they were going to go, right? The New England Patriots, right? They're going to go win, win a Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs now, right? They weren't that way 6 years ago, right? 7 years ago, but now they are. So there are these up and coming teams that will be in that conversation for sure. But there's a ton of teams out there, not a ton, but I would say a handful of teams in these leagues where you can look every year and say that team has a chance every year to go get a national championship, to go win their division and win the whole damn thing. Right. So that's but yeah, Des Moines Menace has a good, strong fan base.
And that was part of what I was talking about yesterday about, and I don't know if you saw that clip from Galazzo talking about, the USL introducing a new league and kind of putting more pressure on the MLS. And what I love about it is introducing soccer to these cities that obviously don't get these MLS bids, don't have the availability to join the highest league, having the chance to really join in on the USL, because here's what I'll say. People love what they know, right? And these soccer fans might be fans of what's going on across the pond. They might watch the Premier League, they might watch the Champions League, but you have to give them something. And it's why I think Grand Rapids is the best minor league market in America, because people around here are really invested in what goes on around here because they have so many options, right? You can go watch a minor league baseball game and watch future major leaguers for a realistic price, right? And I'm talking like cats that are going to go on and have like long, healthy major league careers, like Max Clark, the kid that we have in town right now. And I think you saw the video of him, that home run that he hit that I put on my TikTok page. He's going to have the keys to the city in Detroit in about 4 years. I'm not kidding. Like, I wish people understood how good this kid was. And so that is something that they love because they can go out and they can watch these prospects for a reasonable price, right? Same thing with the Gold. It's almost like NBA level play. I mean, that's one step away. A lot of those guys are on two-way contracts for a reasonable price. Same thing with the Rise. Same thing. So when it comes to soccer, they might be fans of what's going on across the pond, but they're not really going to be all that heavily invested in something like the MLS because they don't have a hometown team. I mean, the closest the team they can cheer for is the Chicago-based team, but why would they be so invested in that? So you got to bring soccer to these communities in order to really bring these people out of the woodwork so that they can support something that they know. Now you factor in, like with Des Moines, you were talking about a successful team. Now you're gonna pack the place out because not only do you have history, not only do you have something for the community to come out and watch. Plus, I don't know what else is going on in Des Moines outside outside of maybe some soccer and a few other things. So I'm sure that helps out a lot too. It's one of the only attractions in town. I'm just judging from a distance. I've never actually been to Des Moines in my life, but that tells me that obviously clearly it's a good entertainment product, but you have to give people something that's close to home that they can care about, because then they're really going to get invested. And then you throw in obviously the outreach and the promoting and all these other things and stuff like that. But you think of there's a lot of future cities that are going to really be able to bring the soccer culture alive because of this push with this new league and getting new cities involved. Lancaster, California, Portland, Santa Barbara is going to get a team, Sherman, Texas, Oregon, Florida, Mount Vernon, New York, they're saying is going to get one. Obviously, Grand Rapids, we've talked in length about them adding another team. And I know they already have Midwest Premier or Midwest United, that is, which is the USL2 team. But then you factor in the other side of that too, which is the facility, which is the stadium, which is location, which is all of that other stuff. So that's what I love a lot. And I thought Golazo actually, in their show, they actually made a really good point about how, to some it might seem like watering everything down by adding all these new teams in the USL. To others, at least to me, in thinking about it, I think it's actually a great thing, because yeah, we're so far spread out, but adding new teams and new cities, in a way might cut down on travel a little bit. Maybe you don't have to travel nearly as much if there's more high level teams around. There's stuff there, but to me, more is better. I don't really think it's kind of the Wild West right now. And if the MLS has gone so long as they have without really being impeded at all, no one has really kind of, cut into their share of the market. This is going to force them to really step up their game. It's going to force everybody to step up their game. Now it just seems like there's this level of not uncertainty, but it's not as stable as what it used to be. So give these small communities something to actually come out and watch and put their community name on it, because it's I imagine it's the same thing as like Europeans watching American football. There's a reason why when we go over there and we play a game in London, or we play a game in France, or we play a game anywhere else, like you look in the stands, and that's the funniest thing, because you look at the people that are there, they're all from there, but you're going to see a Dolphins jersey standing next to a guy with a Chiefs jersey on. And then you might see a Raiders jersey over here. And then you might see some Lions stuff over here, because none of them are from here. So they just they have the whole field to choose from. And then they just pick teams, I don't know, based on mascot or colors, or maybe they like underdogs, so they cheer for the underdog, or maybe they like the guys that win all the time, so they're Chiefs fans, so, but that's their support, because they don't have American football teams in their community. They're not going out to watch the, Crystal Palace, American football team. That's just not something that they have. So, but it's the reverse, right? For soccer over here in the United States, you see different types of fans all over the place, but they don't really have a team at home that they're like, yeah, I'm going to go out and watch the Grand Rapids, this or that, or I'm going to go watch the, Muskegon, this or that, or whatever, Mount Vernon, this or that. Like they don't have those teams, unfortunately. Yeah, we have the MLS, but again, it's a closed league structure. It's not the greatest professional league in the world. Yes, it's the highest one here in the United States, but that's outside of Messi, I don't know how many people are truly invested in watching the MLS all that much. And that's not to tear down on the Americans that are playing in that league. That's just the truth, and like we've talked about, the best players here in the United States oftentimes don't stay in the United States, whether that's playing at the highest level or developing or anything else like that. They all come back to play for the national team, but they're everywhere else. So how do you get these small American communities where soccer is not really all that prevalent? How do you get these people to actually come out and watch? Because like I said, there's a lot of fans, but they're just they're sprinkled all over the place. How do we get them all together in one spot to really get this engine moving?
Yeah, I think of it from the standpoint of this. Why would someone want to go watch amateur soccer, right? So invest the time and energy into an amateur soccer environment, right? One, you're connected to a player, right? There's a player connection there, right? So it's family, it's cousin, friends, whatever, right? Maybe there's think of this from the standpoint. If you're a personal trainer, if you're a training soccer player, if you're a coach, and you have to be playing on one of these teams, what's going to end up happening? You're going to have one of your players maybe come watch you, right? So there's that component. So maybe by affiliation or association through the soccer community, right?
Right.
So the family and friends aspect is a big part of it. Then the other one is again, it's people who love the game and they don't have like a local MLS, team or professional team they can go and root for. Or they don't feel connected to connected to those teams, right? It's let's from this standpoint, anyone that's ever gone to church
oh boy,
in America, and I'm not trying to like go get into the religious side of this, but if you're going to a church, you know what I'm talking about. You go into these churches, and if they're smaller churches, you feel more connected.
Yeah.
You get into the larger churches, you don't have that connection. And they have small groups, and that's great, but it's still really hard to connect with the overall vision of the church, even in a small group environment. So you find your home in a local, smaller church. That just makes it feel like it's intimate. And there might not be 10,000 people that show up to a game. There's 75 that show up to a church on a Sunday morning. And that's okay with you because you know all of them. They're like waving. You're like, hi, how's everybody doing? Right? You're not walking into a bunch of strangers. That is the difference between large crowds and smaller crowds. You want to go. And I mean, another example of this is you go to a bar, right? And on a Saturday night, right? You go sit at the bar. The bartender knows you. Right? They know you. They already have your drink coming to you and you sit down. Like, hey, how you doing, John? How you doing, Nate? What do you want for dinner tonight? You want the same things you had last week? You want something different, right? They know you. But you go to the next bar and they have no idea who you are. Now you got to explain what you want, and then it's not right. It's like this level of uncomfortability that comes with being in a bigger environment. That is fanship at its finest. That is I don't think there's a better way to explain it. If you are a fan of the game and want to be a part of something special, you don't want to be part of the 60,000 people. You want to be a part of the 250, the 500, right? And you want to be in that environment, right? And I'm not saying that you can't do both, but I think that that's how this works. I think that's the pull, right, into these environments is you get this intimate. Everybody knows who you are, and there's something to be said about that. When you walk out in the world, like, "What's up, John? How are you?" Oh, you feel a little special, But that's not happening. So I think that's the pull for the fan. And then how do you do it? Well, I mean, I think having success has something to do with it. I think being successful will, and then I think obviously the team has to take ownership of a fan base. When we taking ownership of trying to help develop it. And then once it's then let it go. Right. It's like, okay, here is the keys, right? Here you go. And then, now your job is to deliver it, right? Go give it off, hand it off to the president of the fan base, right? And let them go from there and then stay out of it.
Yeah.
That's another thing, right? I think that a lot of teams are trying to get into it, get into it. And when you do that, your fan base will just shit all over you. I mean, Peter Vermees was just canned here 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago from, longtime Kansas City coach, right? And, got tossed, right? Got fired. Been with that program for, I think it's at the beginning. Long-time coach, not at the beginning, but, long-time coach.
Yeah.
And the fan base was unhappy. They're like, hey, it's time for him to go. And 2 days later, he was gone. Right? Fan bases in soccer specifically have a tremendous amount of pull, way so more than any other sport.
Yep.
They do, because in order for these things to even exist, you need to have a strong fan base.
You need to. Yep.
Support a group.
It's
And so it's like so if you here in Detroit City FC, the Northern Guard, I mean, they are some of the most obnoxious people I've ever come across at a game in the history of mankind. You walk outside the game, man, they are so nice. They're nice. How you doing? But inside the game, man, they will just throw everything they can to help support their team to get them to victory. And if the team does something from an ownership level or whatever that they don't agree with, they will be 100% vocal about it, whether they like you or not. You know, they will make it clear how they feel.
Right.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Good, bad, or indifferent. And so so to really go back to your initial question of how do you grow these fan bases? How do you kind of cultivate them? It starts with family and friends who are going to be the ones to start leading the charge, right? In these initial stages of these teams. And the teams have to fully support those fan bases to start off with. And then from there, you have to find someone who can spearhead it, someone who is so passionate about spreading the word, you know, that they're out there sharing it. I mean, and a good example of that is religion. A full-on believer of Jesus will go share the message with everybody, right? And that's what needs to happen in the soccer space. You need someone who is so much in love with your team. They are the vocal component about spreading the word, and that's what they have to do.
They have to generate a community.
It might be annoying, and it's okay if it's annoying because honestly, you're trying to grab 5-6 people, and if you grab 5 or 6 people, then you can grab 2 or 3 more, and then your supporter group can turn from 50 to 100, from 100 to 200, and now here you are, 400 people are showing up to a game every week because they are fans of your team, not because they love the game of soccer. That's just a byproduct of it, but they are fans and they are in love with your team, and that is how you draw 9,500 people to a game. That's how you draw 500, 600 people to a game, because everyone there is a fan of soccer, but they love your team. They love what this is, and more importantly, they might just love being together, which is equally the same. So
sports is community. Sports is the place where people go to be together. It's the thing that humans crave, right? Being together, having a community, feeling purpose. And this is why, and I mentioned this on an earlier episode that we did. It might have been 3-4 episodes in, but we were talking about like what's the importance of sports. Like I've gotten the question before from people far smarter than me. Des Moines, Iowa has the AAA affiliate. They do. Yeah, they took on the Mud Hens last night. I think they lost like 12 to whatever. But anyways, or won 12 to whatever. Anyways, so community is everything. And that's why I said when people ask me, well, what's the point of sports? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, what happens? It's like it's not necessarily the sport itself. It's bringing everybody together and giving everyone what feels like a purpose, especially for soccer fans who might feel like they just don't have, again, a team to go out and support. And I think that also highlights the entertainment value side as well. You know, giving people a place to just come out and have fun and be there. And maybe in that case, there just so happens to be a soccer game going on at the same exact time. But what you do is you create something that is entertainment based and you get people to come out. Yes, the rabid soccer fans is one element of this. But when I think about the minor league experience, really at any juncture, I mean, it could be any one of the teams. One of the biggest reasons why these organizations do well is because of what they do entertainment based to get people to come out. You know, like the Grand Rapids Rise, you know, they had their Eras tour night. So they didn't have the rights to call it Taylor Swift night. I don't think they wanted to spend all that money, but they understood in that moment, okay, what's our clientele here? You know, with it being professional volleyball on this level, they have Eras night, and the place was just crawling with people. I mean, it was sold out, and to see Van Andel Arena that full for a volleyball game, I mean, I realize it's a niche audience, but if we can get that many people to come to a volleyball game for Taylor Swift night, my guess is we can get some people in the soccer sphere to come out for some other entertainment-based stuff as well. You have to give people a reason to not only feel entertained, but again, that community aspect. It's a combination of all these different things. Because even when I do minor league ball where I'm at, there's a population of people, entertainment and affordability. Yes, that is the minor league experience.
But the problem with the family aspect of this, and this is my perspective, is that families are gonna fill in the gaps. They're gonna fill the gaps in, right? But mom and dad aren't coming to game every Saturday night.
No,
the kid.
No,
it's not happening. So you're going to get we call them like our fillers. They're your fillers. They're going to fill in, right? Your fan base has to be made up of of people who can come in on their own without bringing in their kids.
That's your core group. Yeah, that's your core group. I absolutely 100%. You're right. Yeah, but to the other end, and what Steve is talking about, that the entertainment side, it does help fill in the gaps. And the only reason why I say that is because and I think I've said this before on this show. All the games I've done, even early in the season here, and again, I know baseball is different, big, beautiful stadium, whatever. I think LMCU ballpark has to be one of the best minor league facilities in the country, and I'm not kidding about that. Peter says they said the cost of a family of 4 to go see a Cubs game. Yeah, Chicago Cubs, not the South Bend Cubs though. Go watch them. It's not $600. You don't need the same families every week, but different families. Consistency is key. And the truth is, like I was going to say, our biggest, most populated, craziest baseball game we've had in the last handful of years was Bluey and Bingo Night at the LMCU ballpark. That's like that. That's like on the level of SpongeBob. You know what I mean? In terms of like historically, I know it's not sustainable.
Our attention isn't it crazy? Our attention span is not the game. It's the merry-go-round out on the main concourse. It's the
but that's how fans work.
I know, right? Isn't it crazy though? It's bobblehead night. It's bobblehead night. First 10,000 fans get a bobblehead.
I'm get a free whatever. It's like
the gimmicks of all this. Hey,
but that's why baseball is a game of summer. The people just go and hang out, and there happens to be a game going on. Now, I don't know if you can do the same exact thing with soccer because you don't have these built-in natural breaks, but you can at least try. You can try to create something similar.
So we're talking right now about soccer fans. The reason I brought this up and we start talking about this is because I want to do we're going to be doing a top 50 players in America for both boys and girls at the high school level. We'll do it on both sides of the coin for all levels. But we wanted to do something for fans. Who are the top 50 fans in America? We are going to do fan bases, supporter groups, and singular fans. I truly believe that there are 50 amazing singular fans out there in the world right now.
Do Steve and Peter get are they in the running for this since they're on our show every day? All right, Steve, Peter, you guys got to throw your hat in the ring.
Look at the Savannah Bananas.
Look at the Savannah Bananas, yeah. And it's entertainment, but that's the extreme other side too, Peter. That's
the way he'll even tell you.
That's the Harlem Globetrotters,
to be fair, all you need is one good taco, and that's true. If you have good food, I'm sold.
Yep.
I'm sold.
Yep. Or a food challenge.
I had
a nice little 5,000 calorie burger. Can you eat it in one half?
I had these filet mignon like tacos in San Diego. I mean, filet mignon. I mean, they were so good.
I bet.
Food is key. It is key. And honestly,
yeah.
If you make a really good damn hot dog, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a really good thing. But again, that's the challenge in these small market environments too. These amateur games is that who's doing all this? But my message to all these amateur teams out there is stop making excuses for what you don't have and start making excuses for what you need to do in order to get more people in your stadiums. Yeah. That's what you have to start doing. Because I'm telling you this right now, the cost of doing nothing is way worse than the cost of doing it, right? And we always talk about that in our world. You've got to do something at these games to draw people in. And the first place is food.
Yeah.
The first place. Because the rest of it can come with it for the ride. You can do all. But if you provide a place where people can grab food, because think of it this way, right? On a Saturday night at 7:00 in Northern California, that is primetime dinner time, right? Between 5 and 8. Well, unless you're, the older folks, 5:00 might be dinner. But you're younger,
right.
8:00. So if you can find a way to draw in a up and coming taco truck or food truck, get them there. And now these fans all know it. They can come to the game, get the food, and watch a game. And that's just the byproduct of it. That will increase your fan base significantly.
Yeah.
Hey, if you don't want to bring the food truck in, go to Costco, buy 100 hot dogs, buy 100 hot dog buns. It'll probably cost you way less than anything we can even talk about. Grab a bunch of Kirkland bottled water, grab some, pop and, whatever else, and sell those things for $2 a pop.
Yeah.
Sell a hot dog for $2. Mm-hmm. You'll make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the the environment. And
Yeah.
and you can, again, you don't need like I don't think you need like to bring out a grill and go get a Blackstone. You buy one for $500, and now it's the team Blackstone. And you know, there's so much stuff you can do to draw fans in. And Steve is coming in here. I know too many people that love to go to Detroit CFC games strictly for the variety of food and specific food trucks that are consistently at Keyworth.
Yeah.
I mean, there are, and it's true. I mean, it's so the cost of doing nothing is so far greater than the cost of doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about that a lot in our world because we're so fearful of how much it's going to cost, or, oh my God, I got to find someone to run it. Yeah, you know who you should find to run it? Your fan base. You're like, literally. What do you think happens at high schools? They take the moms and dads and they make them work the games.
Mm-hmm.
These are the fans of their kids. They wouldn't be working in that damn thing if they didn't have to, but they're required to as part of their kids signing up. So if you are a fan and you want to fan supporter groups, go, okay, well, hey, for your $30 a year membership, you know, you're required to work at least 2 games during a season at the concession stand.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Problem. I just solved your problem. I didn't even take a cut.
One of the fondest memories people ever have of coming to our football games when I was in high school were the damn caramel apple suckers that they had at the concession stand. Caramel apple suckers, and they would get pizza delivered to the stadium. That's like a core memory for everyone who went to those games. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the food connection to memories, but there's always something there. And the same thing can be said about the minor league experience. The Fifth Third Ballpark burger, I know we've showed it on this show before. I mean, I had to eat it. 5,000 calories, could only fit in a pizza box because it was so big. You couldn't put it in any other box. That brought people out. Man versus Food, he came out and took on that challenge. He came to our little old ballpark in West Michigan and did the food challenge of eating that 5,000 calorie burger. So that has an effect. The other thing I'll say is, like, lean into your local market. There has to be, so there's a signature restaurant, there's a signature place at every town that you go. There's something. I mean, I even think about the Whitecaps right now are in Lake County, Ohio. Peter says high schoolers locally have to do a certain amount of community service hours. Have them do that for the teams. I agree. I think that's something you can loop in there. But like in Lake County, like, they don't have a lot. You know, it's a sleepy little, you know, Cleveland town. It's just, you know, 25 minutes outside. It's right on the coast there. You know, so it's a very diverse crowd, and they don't have a ton. I mean, Waffle House, aka the Awful House, is one of the more prevalent. Awful. How you feel afterwards? It tastes great. I'm just saying, but you know, it's sometimes it has a fist coming out the other way. But
Awful House, no.
Woo.
Why would you say such nonsense? Awful House. No, I mean,
man, it's great.
I call White Castle the clearance house, but I mean, like, you
know, Lake County has this place. It's called what is it called? Biagio's. That's what it is. You have pizza, coffee, and ice cream all in the same place, all in the same spot. So you can get all three when you go in there, and they kind of lean into that because Biagio's is right across the street. Same thing could go for Grand Rapids. We got great places. Don't you dare, Nathan. Waffle House is elite, especially at 3 Hey, man, if you want to go see the local crazies, go visit Waffle House in Lake County, Ohio. I assure you will see some things.
The crazies, and wow, okay,
the crazies, yeah. No, that brings out the creatures sometimes. I don't envy the people that work at Waffle House sometimes, but no, that's, you have to lean into your local market. You have to find what the people like, especially in like where I'm from, like being Beer City and everything. Like that seems tailor-made, you know what I mean, to bring young people out. You know, again, whether or not, Jonathan Turner, they are there to see the Grand Rapids professional team win that game, or they are painted up, or they're lighting off flares or anything like that, or they're just, you know, little Johnny and Susie are there to just, you know, hang out and have a good time on a summer's night, whatever that looks like. At the very least, you're giving something people to care about, whether that's entertainment, whether that's food, whether that's experience, whether that's being a rabid fan. In the minor league experience, you combine all these things. And I remember I actually explained this to someone. His name on Twitter or X is Jed UK. He's actually a huge Tigers fan. He's from the UK. He's not from here. And I remember he asked the other day on X, he goes, what is it with minor league fans? Like, I don't get it. Are they actually invested in the team winning? Like, do they actually come out and want to see the team win a championship? Like, and I'm like, some, yes, but you have to realize it's a mixed bag, right? You got some of those, you got families coming out for the entertainment stuff. You got people in their 20s or 30 somethings who just want to come out and drink and have fun in the sun, and there just so happens to be a game going on. You got business people who are doing network events up in these suite levels who love to watch the game like this, not actually watching the game. So these screaming foul balls make me think that they're going to have a meeting with Jesus every game that I watch, but at least they're coming out and spending their money. And so you have a combination, and then you have people who want to watch prospects and some of the top talent in their area without having to spend major league prices like we talk about, like Peter just mentioned with the $600 to go to a Chicago Cubs game. It's true. One mixed drink puts you $12 in the hole. Like it's unbelievable, but the minor league level, it's not the same. So compare the Michigan Coney dog to Chicago style dog, which is better? I already know what you're going to say, Peter. You Chicago people think Chicago's got the best food in the world and no one can even come close. The amount of times I've heard people say, well, this isn't like how it is from Chicago.
Well, I had Portillo's actually on Monday. I had Portillo's on Monday. I had Portillo's on Monday, and Portillo's is well-known Chicago restaurant, and I had their Chicago dogs. I think it's like the Detroit style pizza, Chicago style pizza, and New York style pizza. I think that none of them are better than the other. I think that one,
there we go.
You have the craving for that pizza at that moment, right? So it's not. I don't think that we need to sit there and say, because again, I guess I can tell you right now that if I want to have a Coney dog, okay, if I'm going to go someplace locally, that is just I can get there quickly and whatever. It's National. I don't like Leo's. I'm not a big fan of Kirby's. It's chili. I like Nationals better. Yeah, but if you say, hey, if I'm going to go out of my way for a Coney dog, I'm going to go to La Pumas in Rochester. Okay. Now there's American down in Lafayette. That's down in Detroit, and both of those are very good. But I like La Pumas way better. All right. Okay. I like La Pumas. I love it way better. So I'm going to go to La Pumas. I'm going to go out of my way. All right. Okay. Now, your Chicago style standpoint, I don't know of a great Chicago-style place in Michigan other than Portillo's. It's a Chicago landmark, so why wouldn't I want to go to the place that started in Chicago? I'm going to go get it there, right? But
I like me a Chicago dog for whatever it's worth. Chicago dogs aren't bad. The only thing I don't like are the onions sometimes. I remember I went to a Bulls game. My buddy got Chicago dog with all the onions and fixings. It stunk up the entire row. Steve said, no need to compare. Coney dogs are better. Don't get me wrong, a good Chicago dog. It's good, but I don't need salad on my hot dog. Thank you, Steve. Preach. Then again, a Coney dog gives you a good case of heartburn. That's fair. I'll give Chicago the nod on pizza, though. I like the pizza pie that looks like an actual pie, like that stuff where it's like,
it weighs 35 pounds and needs 2 servers to bring it to your table. Yeah.
Hey, I'm all for it, man. I am all for that. That's the Giordano special, I think.
What we need to do, though? We need to do a series. I know we're completely off topic here, but we need to do a series on the best food in amateur games.
Yeah, there we
go. We got to do that. We need to do a series on that. We need people to send in, like, what's the great food that's being served right now, or these specialty foods that are being served right now at these stadiums across, not Comerica Park or like Fort. No, I'm talking about like, the soccer game, right? Where the amateur gamer now, UPSL, Midwest Premier League, there's got to be like some diamonds out there. I mean, Steve talked about this food truck because for the Alianza games, they used to play their games in Corktown at the old Tiger baseball stadium, so the Corktown, the corner ballpark, and they obviously that's right in the heart of Corktown, but like a stone's throw from Mexican Village. And so obviously great food trucks, right down the way, great Mexican restaurants. So they brought this great food truck in and yeah, they had those steak tacos, the nice, the corn tortillas, right? Those soft corn tortillas, they throw the cilantro on, a little bit of lime. I think they even have margaritas too. And Mexican beers. So you couldn't have asked for a better environment. And that's what Steve was talking. They even had like, I think churros too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Steve can remind me, but I'm pretty sure they had churros back when I could actually eat churros. But yeah, so I think that we should definitely do a series about like food in soccer in America. I'm not sure what it looks like, but
Is that our next top 50 then? So we got top 50 fan bases. We're highlighting individual fans. Now we're going to put food on the map too. I think that's not a bad. What's the best Detroit City FC food? That's what I'm wondering. I got to come out
Their
to
hot
a game
dogs are really
days.
good. So
That's
there's this. There's I want to say there's an area obviously right in Hamtramck, and Hamtramck is a very very heavy Middle Eastern population, Arabic and whatnot, and they have this restaurant. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. That has a great food truck. I think there's a pizza truck that comes in. They actually announced it, I think, as part of like their game day operations, right? But they have they do their own hot dog. They serve alcohol. A lot of it, Sfego Pop and like local breweries or distilleries that will serve, alcohol. I'm just trying to blank on that. Like something called the House. It obviously Hamtramck also used to be known for its Polish, but that not so much. But I'm trying to think. Something House. I'm sure Steve Best will probably tell me because he knows.
Roadhouse.
No, it was it's a Middle Eastern restaurant, and with hummus and all the Mediterranean food that you can get, and I'm just drawing a blank on the name of it. But the Balkan House, there it is. Balkan House. Yeah.
Okay.
So So anyways, they are very, very good. And again, I think they have like a Michi's Pizza or something like that, but like one of those more like those. I think that not the Detroit style pizza, but more of that. As I think the El Presidente would say, it was it was in that. There's like a name for the pizza he calls it, not like Hartford, but New Haven.
New Haven. Connecticut style. All right.
Yeah, New Haven. Yeah, I think that's we got all sidetracked though. Is what Steve was saying.
Y'all got some interesting tomato sauce on that Detroit style pizza. I like it though. I like this stuff. I like talking about food. I like talking about getting sidetracked. It's the beauty of podcasting, man. Sometimes you get rabbit trails, but it's not a bad thing per se.
No, I mean, we're talking about the best fans in America. Who are they? Where are they? We're gonna do an expose, a series on that. So we'll announce that here in the coming weeks about how you can nominate a fan or fan base, and let's do a publication about it. Let's do a story about it. Let's give some love.
Deep fried Twinkies.
This game. Deep fried Twinkies. Those aren't bad. Again, I can't try those anymore, but
you can imagine.
Basically, the delights of life are just gone now. It's like my kids are like, "Can we go get ice cream at Dairy Queen?" I'm like, "No." Like, why not? I can't have any.
I could just sit there and watch you. Hey man, you can get some tater tots or something while you're there, though.
Nope, those are carbohydrates.
Really?
Nope. Yeah.
Oh, what's your threshold, man? I mean, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm sure they probably don't have a whole lot of non-carb options at Dairy Queen. That would be that's not really a place you go to.
No sugar, no carbs. Meal. So tell me what I can have. Okay. Now, if you remember back in the day, if you were watching any of our games, Steve and I, who's obviously commenting, I will attribute my diabetes to calling games because I would not be at work normally on a Tuesday during the day, just hammering down a Sour Patch bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
But I did for broadcasting. So let's just walk through what that looked like for me for a minute. So we're traveling to the game. Me and my kids hop in the car, grab all of our gear. We go. We stop over at a gas station. What do we do at the gas station? We grab Mountain Dews, Red Bulls, Monsters, right?
Gives you wings.
We grab Sour Patch Kids. We grab chocolate. We grab all of that that sugary whatever, right? Get to the game, get everything set up. We sit there for 2 hours and we just eat candy, pound Red Bulls, you name it, right? Then after the game, what do? We run over to Applebee's and I grab myself, the shrimp, platter or the whatever, and then we gotta grab some dessert. Let's grab ourselves a nice chocolate cake, and then. I would go home and I'd have a couple whiskeys, Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so that was me for like 1,500 games.
And that's the life. You want to talk about inside the game? That is the life of broadcasting. That is the life of sports and being in these places. Don't deprive your kids, JT. I'll have to go. For them not getting ice cream. That's such a horrible thing, JT. How dare you, man? Peter, sorry, but when I do in a game, I run on coffee. That can't do Red Bulls anymore. You know what? I agree with you. Someone actually asked me the other day, Peter. They go, "How many Maker's Mark is the best?" It is. It's pretty good.
If you ask me,
Evan Williams ain't too bad either. Evan Williams.
Crown Royal is pretty smooth. I like Crown. I don't mind Crown Royal.
Yeah.
If you ask me like what my favorite whiskey was prior to I actually loved Detroit Distillery and their bourbon.
It's a true local guy through and through.
Right. Traverse City whiskey also very good. Ever had
it? I have. I'm actually a Traverse City guy, but
go Traverse City whiskey, the cherry version with A&W root beer. I'm telling you right now, man.
Cherries are kind of like bananas with me. Like I like bananas and I like cherries, but anything cherry. Well, I should take that back. There is some good cherry flavored stuff. I try. Like I said, I had it. It's not. I don't know.
Well, hey, Dean Linke loves it. I gave him a bottle as a gift when he came up here. He loved it. So
it wasn't just being nice.
Maybe. Oh, hang on here.
I'm just messing.
Hold on. Okay, so
oh boy.
I gotta show this. Hang on. This just came in here a moment ago, and I'm gonna share this, and hopefully he was hoping I wasn't gonna do this. I don't know, but this just came into our studios here a moment ago. Let's find the window. Here it is. This is Steve Besk.
Oh goodness gracious! Oh Steve, buddy, it's 9:56 a.m. What are we doing? Oh. Goodness! I can't. What even is that? I've never said that's an off-brand.
It's what Detroit City.
Oh, that's Detroit City. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's Detroit City, man. What do you mean? It's right there, Detroit City. See?
Oh, now I see it. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Straight bourbon whiskey, my friend.
Oh.
The apple one from Traverse City, though, is the lead. He's saying the apple whiskey from Traverse City.
I haven't had the apple one, so I'll give you that. I haven't tried that one yet. So maybe there's something there. Steve, well done, man. The whole thing. Peter. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked too. That's a fan right there, though. That alone should put him on the top 50. He's ready to go. Not opening it now.
I figured that to his YouTube profile picture. That's what you think he should do is change that whole picture. That'd be great. It'd be constantly on our screen every time just a post.
That's a LinkedIn cover photo right there, Steve.
That'll get you more jobs.
I figured you weren't polishing it off at 10 a.m. No, I do that, but that's funny. Good to add to the collection there.
Awesome stuff. I mean, this is episode 60. It's like a mosh pit of everything, man. What the hell, right? I mean, like this is number 60, right? Why not just throw a whole bunch of shit in there, see what sticks? You know?
I'm all about getting stuff prepared and having stuff to talk about. And if there's relevant stuff talking about it, you and I both agreed to that too. But there's some element of just talking about things and just reminiscing on things and just shooting ideas and how to grow the whole thing. The important thing is that we're talking about the game. Whatever else is around the game, it's fine. But you'd be amazed how many memories and how much people are connected by food specifically, like how much that actually drives participation and people coming out to stuff. It's crazy. Food and drink, food and bev. That's 90% of it. Food and bev.
It is. And to be fair, I talked about this in previous shows. Like when I was in college, I had to write an article about family and I write like a thesis on something important to me. And I mentioned this. I said, if you look at everything important in life, and even not important, it revolves around a meal. It revolves around food. I mean, everything revolves around food. So if you can make, they did a story about this, and Steve actually mentioned Athens here. Someone comments back. I didn't post it on the screen, but about how Troy Athens and their concession stand, how great it is. People actually travel to Athens on a Tuesday night, not to watch the game, to go grab the food and go home. Like that's literally a thing.
Really?
It's a high school concession stand.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. That's crazy.
Right? And it's such a great concession stand that it was featured on local Channel 4 news.
Wow.
So click on Detroit, covered it. They're there. They serve ribs and pulled pork sandwiches and they have so many different variations. They have root beer floats.
Oh,
Think of high schools that have root beer floats, my friend.
Oh,
So my point though is if you do it right, people will come there.
They'll flock
just because of they'll just flock in just because it's great food.
Yeah,
and especially if it's affordable, right? I mean, think about it. If I go right now and I had my first ever Jack in the Box, I had that for the first time ever in Cali, and it was good. I mean, kind of reminded me it was okay. I wasn't like blown away by it. I still haven't tried an In-N-Out burger. I got to do that, but on my list of things to do. But this buzz around this food, but it cost me $14 to get a sandwich. Okay, just a sandwich. If you can offer a $15 ticket that includes a cheeseburger and a bag of chips and a drink with the ticket, and you can get a family of 4 in for $60, and that's dinner. That's dinner.
It's dinner.
That's I mean, like that's a meal. I mean, and it's still cheaper than them going to McDonald's as a family because it's legit, and there's no entertainment at McDonald's.
Yep.
So it's like you've got to find a way to
and giveaways. Yeah, I mean, the team I cover on Wednesdays, if they win, everyone gets a free chicken sandwich. Like that, to me, it's like, heck yeah, you better be there. Free Chick-fil-A sandwich if the Caps win on Wednesdays. Now you know.
There you go.
It's big. It's everything.
A wrap here on episode number 60 of Inside the Game. We went over by a minute. We went over by 4 minutes yesterday, so we're working our way up. Hey, great news. Yesterday, we installed a TV outside our studio here, so now people can actually watch 24 hours a day right outside our studio on the wall. Big screen TV with our Roku channel right there, so everybody can watch it. Pretty cool. Our app has been submitted to Apple and has been submitted to Google Play. So the National Soccer Network app will hopefully be in the next 2 weeks, will hopefully be launched and ready to go. Where you can get all of our soccer news, watch us on the app each and every day, as well as all the other things that we're doing in the soccer space. So that app hopefully will be approved here in the next 2 weeks. And when it does, we will let you all know about that. But I submitted that this morning and excited about that because you'll get all your news, all your notifications, you can watch all your games right there on the National Soccer Network. So pretty cool.
Yeah. Easy, convenient, good to access it. We're moving on up.
Anyways, with that being said, that is a wrap here today on Inside the Game number 60. You've been watching it here on the National Soccer Network. Don't forget, subscribe, like us, share this with your friends and family, and make sure you come back each and every day. Same time, same place, right here on the National Soccer Network. This has been a presentation of the National Soccer Network.